Hello, I am Mal. Welcome to Master of Orion Early Access. So, this is the fourth game in the series, if you're not familiar with it, and it is a Space 4X strategy game. Actually, Master of Orion II, which is about 20 years old at this point, is still held as sort of the top tier 4X game, not just space genre, but 4X game that pretty much every strategy game gets compared to, and with good reason. I still play Master of Orion II. It's a great game. So I was so excited when I heard of, I guess it was about 2 years ago, close to 2 years ago, that Wargaming.net had purchased the rights to the franchise. I thought, oh wow, here's the people behind World of Tanks. Not only do they know how to build good games, but they also have deep pockets. And they've put together a team at NGD Studios that also includes some advisors from the original Master of Orion and Master of Orion II teams to pull together this reboot of the series. So the question is, does it hold up? Well, first off, it's still in early access, so it's got a few things that need to be addressed. There's some components that are missing from the game. I am recording this on February 26th of 2016. I got up super early this morning, got the game, downloaded it, and started playing it. And I have to say, so far, I'm pretty happy, and I have super high expectations because I love this series. But I am really excited to share this with you. So in this episode, which is going to function as sort of just general overview of Master of Orion, the reboot here, and me talking about the history of it. And then we'll move into a proper Let's Play of one of the races that's currently available in the early access. So what I'm going to do is I'll put a link right here with an annotation. If you want to jump straight to that, you can. It'll jump you forward in the playlist to what is going to be episode 1. This is episode 0. But if you want to get a deep dive on the overview of the interface and everything else, then just stay with me here. Remember that if you're on a mobile device, an annotation will not appear as a link for you. So you'll need to go to the description of the video or look at the playlist to move forward. Okay, so let's take a look here. Options, single player, multiplayer options. Let's start with options. So you can choose obviously your resolution. Stick with what we got. You've got quality settings. This is very reminiscent of like Galactic Civ. Matter of fact, they're even labeled the same way, I believe. Or am I thinking of Endless Space? Endless Space is actually done this way. Huh, interesting. Okay. Anti-aliasing, your gamma, VSync, whether or not you want full screen. Gameplay options, you've got disable GNN. GNN is the Galactic News Network. Every once in a while, these two robots will come up on the screen and they'll be talking about different events. It's not something that you have to have. So if you want to, you can just disable it if you don't find that interesting. But it's a fun little thing, so I see no reason not to have it. Tactical combat, you can show numeric damage or not. I have that enabled. And then as far as health bars, you've got different options: off, on, only on selected. So if you select a ship, you'll see the health bar, or only if they're damaged. I have mine on. Let's see, audio. You've got different audio bars for each section. This is still not 100%. I've noticed I've made a couple of changes already, and it doesn't seem to necessarily hold. But it's nice that this is in here. I'm sure they'll get that worked out. I currently have voices turned down quite a bit so that when I show you the races that are available, I'll still be able to talk while the narrator is talking. And we'll get more into that here in a moment. But the voice actor cast for this is just amazing. People like Michael Dorn and Mark Hamill, and just the list goes on and on. Matter of fact, if I remember to, I'll put the list of the voice actors in the description of the video because it's just really impressive. All right, so then we've got the controls, pretty straightforward. Now, something that's not listed here, and I don't think it's listed under the interface either. No, it's not. Is that you can move around the screen once you get to the galactic map just using the arrow keys on your keyboard, or you can just sort of move side to side around the galactic map with your mouse. You can actually control the whole game with your mouse if you don't want to use the keyboard at all. Obviously, you have these shortcuts to go to various screens, and we'll get to that as we get into the game. Okay, content here. I'm assuming this is going to be for additional DLC. Right now, the only option is this Pixel Ships, which you unlock by linking your Steam account to your Wargaming account. I don't really have any interest in that, but it's an option there for you. The interface in general, from the starting menu here to when we get into the game, is really intuitive as far as how the game functions. Basically, if you've already played Master of Orion II, then you pretty much already know how to play Master of Orion Conquer the Stars. I mean, there are some differences, but not a lot, and that's a good thing, people. All right, so let's get into single player. We've got continue, new game, quick match, load game. We're going to go ahead and do new game so I can show you the races.
Hailing from the cloudy planet Altair.
Now, again, I've got the voiceover turned down so that I can continue to talk to you about this, but the voice acting in the game is superb, and I'll even up the volume here in a moment and just so you can get a sample of it. But you've got 6 races to choose from right now in the early access. There's 4 that are closed off. Again, those of you that are familiar with the series will recognize all of these. The only new race that I know of, if you got the early access or you bought into the collector's edition or what have you, is going to be an alternate of the humans. There's going to be sort of a warfaring race that's based off of the humans. That's the only new race that I know of. The rest of these are all lifted from the rest of the series. So you've got the Alkari, the Balrathi, the human, Martian, you've got the Cylon, the Sakra, Darla, Klaxon, Meklar, and Silicioid. And they do have, as you would expect, different traits based on what race you choose. So in the case of the Alkari here, they're lofty, inflexible, and honorable. Their homeworld, they get artifacts, which gives you bonus to research. Their ships get plus 25% beam defense, and then they start with physics tech. Barathi have a rich homeworld, so they have more production value. They've got gravity tolerance of high, so if you come across a high gravity world, which I haven't seen in game yet, so I don't know if that's not implemented or what have you, but I haven't seen it yet. But again, I've only been able to play a few hours right now, so it's not like I have a lot of hands-on time. My guess is that if it's not in there already, then obviously it will be. But if you have high gravity tolerance, then as it says here, race not affected by high gravity. That means that you would not have any penalties to a world with high gravity, so you wouldn't have to put in like a gravity generator or something like that to balance things out. That these guys can go to basically any world and function at high capacity, except for like a toxic world or what have you. Starting tech, physics. Okay, then you've got the human, and they start with counter espionage minus 25%. Again, this isn't going to help you a whole lot because as far as I can tell so far, there is no espionage in the game, but I'm sure it's coming. They have improved negotiation skills because of diplomacy, and their starting tech is government, which gives you morale bonuses. Martian, homeworld is large. They get grassland. Each race can transform... Oh, this race can transform desert planets into improved grassland planets. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a really unique trait. Ground units, extended barracks. Race can host more Marines in each colony. Starting tech, engineering. That's very cool. This Uber planet thing, I'm going to have to try that out. Alright, so the Cylon, and this is not the visor type. It's these guys. They're called that, I guess because of the whole... They communicate amongst their people psionically, I guess, and they got the big brain. I guess. Anyway, homeworld large. Research and population plus 50%. That's pretty crazy, actually. Now, note that their gravity tolerance is low gravity, so this is sort of the big disadvantage to playing these guys. There needed to be something to balance out the huge bonus to research. So most planets are going to have normal gravity, which these guys would then have a penalty against everything that they do on that planet. Starting tech is government. Okay, and then we have the Sakura. Uber planet tropical. This race can transform swap planets into highly improved tropical planets. Food consumption, 25% less than normal. And their starting tech is biology. Now, I've already played these guys a little bit, and this is probably the race I'll start out in with the Let's Play, just because they have a lot of sort of flavor, and their characters and whatnot, their support characters are kind of interesting and funny, I think, the way they talk. So I'll probably be playing them to start. So let me go back over here. And options. Let's go ahead and change the audio of the voices. We'll put that back up, and then I'll give you an example of how the narrator sounds.
Hailing from the cloudy planet Altair, The proud Alkari are an old race of avian hominids. Although well known for their peaceful disposition, they are fierce in combat and will rarely back out of a fight if they believe they have just cause. The Skylord rules over the flock uncontested. He is the de facto commander of all Alkari fleets, crewed by highly skilled and disciplined soldiers. Their pilots primal in their ways, the cold-blooded Sakura from...
Okay, so just to give you a sample of the voice acting, it's really, really well done. And as we get further into the Let's Play portion of this playlist, you'll get to hear the different leaders talk and interact with you and whatnot. And again, it's really, really well done. I'm impressed by it. All right, so let's look at the game setup. Now, obviously right now, since there are not all the races in the game, the max AI opponents currently is 5. Now, you can choose what type of galaxy type you want. Right now, there's circle and spiral. I'm assuming there'll be more choices later. Galaxy size, small, medium, and large. I'm curious if we're going to get, like, huge as an option at some point. But I will say this, medium size is actually fairly big. It'll take you a while to finish a game on a medium-sized map, based on what I've played so far. Okay, now, I don't know that this is actually in here yet. I don't know if it actually changes anything. I haven't been able to test it yet. I haven't had the time. But if I'm drawing on experience from the previous games, changing the age will change the types of planets you have. So if you choose young difficulty, young galactic age, then you're going to have more sort of lush planets, and you're going to have less planets that have high mineral resource, and then it's just the opposite if you choose old. I'm just going to stick with average. The difficulty level, you can't seem to change that at this point. It's just set at average. So anyone that has experience with this series, or if you're just highly experienced at this type of game, chances are the AI is not going to be too challenging. I mean, it's enough to at least make it interesting, but you're probably going to be able to smash their faces. just forewarning. So hopefully we get some higher difficulty levels soon. Okay, advanced options. We can turn on or off random events. Pixel ships if you link your account or whatever to Wargaming. Pirates, this is new. This was not in Master of Orion II. So this is kind of interesting. So you've got this sort of hostile party to everyone, but they're really weak. At least they were in the couple hours that I played. I pretty much just destroyed the pirates. They were a little bit of a nuisance, but they weren't hard to defeat at all. Monsters, this was kind of a staple of the game. You'll have like giant space squids and stuff like that. It's really cool. I like that. Allow racial traits, yes or no. Balanced starting conditions, that's pretty cool. So no one gets an unfair start. And then victory type, excellence, diplomatic. That's neat that they've got the different victory types here, and you can choose whether or not you want to enable them. So that's the basic setup here. We'll go ahead and hit start game here, and we'll go in and just take a look, and then I'll start a completely fresh game in episode 1. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in.
While the sun scorched the harsh surface of Slaw, the Sakura brood multiplied in their underground caverns. It was not long before even the largest grottos and the deepest ravines were crowded with their ever-increasing numbers, and food became a precious commodity. With greater numbers of mouths to feed, the brood now pours out from their caves to the stars in search of new dens for its families.
Big boss has summoned Stego, yes. This lackey serves the hierarch of the Sakura, yes. His eyes wide open, watching. His brain thinking for bits of stuff to know. Inquire away, hierarch. Your lackey helps.
So this is the primary reason why I wanted to play the Sakura, is just because this guy is hilarious. Like, the research guy and everything is just really funny. Big boss. Big boss, I think the stuff's is done. It's pretty funny. All right, so you're gonna start off with, one world, and then you'll start off with a small fleet. In this case, we've got 2 scouts and a frigate. If I mouse wheel out, I can kind of zoom around the galaxy, or I can use the arrow keys on the keyboard. I kind of tend to use both. But again, the graphics are really, really awesome, and then the interface is pretty slick. So if I want to take a closer look at my homeworld, I just click on it, and here you go. I can manage my structures, which just means if I want to, like, scrap one or something, or if I just want to look at them or whatever, I can. Tells me what the individual bonuses are. Okay, so now here's something you're going to be looking at a lot. So here we are in our home world. It's got a population 8 of 11. This is how many credits per turn we're currently getting. Here's the ground defense, 4 of 9 infantry, ETA to new marines, a new marine 5 turns. Here's our current morale, our current pollution status, which will build up over time. So you do have the option to reduce it by using some of your turns of production to sort of get rid of pollution. There's also tech that you can get, like atmospheric renewers, that will reduce the pollution buildup. And then I'm making some assumptions here that later on in the tech tree, matter of fact, we should just look at that. My guess is that we will get something at some point that will let us just get rid of it altogether. Would be in here somewhere. Transgenics. Well, there's weather controller. There we go. Something like this. Pollution processor. Upgrades the atmospheric renewer. So that means somewhere down here there's going to be core device that can get rid of it. Deep core mine. Core waste dump. There we go. So that would get rid of your pollution altogether. So you can manage it using your your people. You have the option here. I'll show you. Let's see. Let's show queue. You're definitely gonna want to click that so you can manage your queue here. Here's all the things we can build on this planet. Now we don't have the tech yet, but at some point we will. There'll be sort of a little like refresh symbol. We'll be able to click that, and then we'll be actively able to get rid of pollution. It's not a big thing to start off. It's just something I want you to note, because it does function differently than it did in the earlier part of the series, and it's a mechanic that you could easily miss. Okay, so let's look here. Now, colony focus, balanced. You don't have to. It's automatically going to default to manual if you start switching this around, but I'll just go ahead and set it to manual. Research, while it is important at the get, you're going to have to figure out what your priorities are going to be. I tend to focus on production of my first colony ship first. And unlike the previous series, and here's where some of the differences come in. So you've got research, food, and production. I've got 8 people, so here's representation of those. I can put them anywhere I want. And note that they have different values in the first couple of sections here. So I get 3 production, 2 production, 2 production, 2 production, then it falls to 1 and 1. So the more you put in a certain category, the less efficiency you get. Research is very straightforward. You get 1 point for each person that's doing it. And then research points can be modified by the tech that you have. Like if you have a research lab or something like that, those can all add to your research points. Food, first off, you have to have a certain amount of food just to maintain your population. But if you want growth, like right here it says next population 12 turns. If I want to increase that, now it's 9, right? See the change? Pick up these guys, drop them in food, and now it's 8 turns. Or if I wanted to put these people in production, now my colony ship is done. Let's see. It says first colony ship's going to be done in 1 turn. Oh, okay, yeah, right, by default. But normally this would take longer to build, so let's see. Let's queue up another one. That's going to be 14 turns. We'll just go like that for 1 turn here. Okay, so we've got the amount of credits we've got command points. This is how many ships you can have deployed. You can see our capital gives us 10 command points. We have 1 starbase over our capital that gives us 5 for a total of 15. And then as we build more ships, you can see that the command points get subtracted. So we've got 12 remaining. It doesn't cost us any additional maintenance right now because we have not exceeded our command points. If we had a really huge fleet and we didn't have the infrastructure to support them and coordinated them, then we would start losing like big time money. And then we have 1 research point right now because, you know, we're not that good at research and we're just starting out. Up at the top, you've got these different icons that will give you information. So here's our empire overview. Something you might want to do at the beginning is just set your tax rate a little lower, probably 1 credit per populace, and you can see that our income dropped. You can go up to 5. If you change this, it will have an impact on your morale and your productivity. So probably want to try to keep it low if you can. Okay, so here's the planet. Here's all of its info, its current morale. You can see its morale is at 100%. If I go back up, it goes down. If I go up even further, it goes down even more. And then 2 people go on strike. So we're going to do 1 BC per pop, and they have 100% because we already have a government building here. 100% morale, that's what we want to see. All right, with a happy face. This is what it's currently building. Here is its stats. If we had multiple planets here, they'd all show up. And we could sort them by production, their research value, how much food they're doing, how much money they're making, and what have you. Really, really useful tab. Next, we have research.
Tell these brainers what stew they should be brewing.
Tell these brainers. I love it. Boss. Okay, well, we'll start with, doesn't matter a whole lot. Let's go for some extra production. We'll grab... We'll go with physics to start. That's going to take us 12 turns. And again, you can also view the tech tree from here. Ship design. Now, this is pretty cool. I like this a lot. I've been messing around with it. So we've got this frigate. It's the only thing we can build by default. And it's got, what, 7 laser cannons, huh? Here's the deal with laser weapons at the beginning. I know very well that because we don't have any computer upgrades or anything, our chances to hit are not going to be that great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what I like to call, and I used to do this in Master of Orion II, I'm going to create a little missile boat because missiles are pretty powerful, and I've already confirmed that they're pretty powerful in this game as well. So we're going to make our own little version of the frigate here. And we're going to use the alternate frigate design just to look different. And then we're going to theme it with... Oh, that looks kind of cool. We're going to go with that. We've got some default core systems in here. This is like baseline tech like armor or engines. We don't have any upgrades, so we're just going to leave these core systems alone. We don't have any specials to put in here other than augmented engines. But you can see how much production cost it's going to add and then total space used. It would take us over the current allotment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to clear this weapon out. And we've got 2 weapon slots and we've got some space available. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab some nuclear missiles and we're going to create it with 2 launchers. How much space do we have? Okay, can we do 2 then? I think we can. Yep, and can we make one of them like fast or something? No, how about armored? Nope. Okay, so what we're gonna do is 2 nuclear missile launchers in each slot, right? So they'll each fire 2 missiles each cycle when we're in combat. So that gives us a total military power of 143. That's gonna cost us 26. This is supposed to be the missile boat. I already gave it that name, but whatever. Here we go. Done. Okay, so the frigate is 135. Our missile boat is 143 military power, and those missiles fire from way long range. So, and they're more accurate. So unless they get shot down or jammed, which is unlikely at the beginning of the game, this is a potent little ship that doesn't cost us very much. Okay, so that's how you do ships. Diplomacy, we don't have that option yet, but when you do, they'll show up here. You click on them, and then there'll be a button right here that says Audience. And typically you'll start off with trying to get an embassy, and then you can progress to things like trade agreements and research agreements. They function a little bit differently than they did in Master Orion II, but the end result's roughly the same. Here's the Path to Victory tab, which is new in this. I like it. So you've got highest score at the last turn ends. That would be the Excellence Victory. Then you've got the Conquest Victory, defeat all enemy races. These two are not available yet, Tech Victory or Economic Victory. But you also have the Diplomatic Victory, which is linked to getting voted. Every once in a while, there'll be a meeting of the Galactic Council, and everybody can sort of vote for you to be the Supreme Chancellor. The way you get them to do that is if you have really high relations with them, and if they admire you, they'll vote for you. Or you can threaten them. That's the other way to get votes too. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. This is the Planets tab, so as we explore, you'll be able to sort these by different types of planets, how many minerals do they have, do they have any special resources, what have you, and it helps you later on when you're tracking a whole lot of places that you might want to colonize. Okay. Well, I think that covers the interface. I mean, there's the fleet. Currently have this right here. All right, so let's send our scouts out. They'll automatically group up as a fleet if they're in one area. If you want to keep them together, then you just click the fleet tab and you can move them all. I'm going to click just the scout because I want to send this scout here. I'm going to right click and send it off. And then I'm going to send this scout.
Big boss.
Oh no. Grab this scout right here, and I'm going to send it towards the yellow stars. Those tend to have the better planets. And we'll send our frigate up here. Okay, and next turn.
Hastily, Hierarch.
Now it's telling me that this colony ship that's brand new needs a order. So let's see. I generally like to find a destination before I send off my colony ship. So I think what I'll do is I'll just say skip it for now. So it's costing me some turns by not sending it. Like for instance, if this ends up having a really good world, you want to colonize it right away, but I'm going to wait. Alright, so once you get in the system, now this is different than previous in the series. Once you get into the system, unless you have the tech unlocked that immediately scans the planets, which early on you won't have, you're then going to have to actually go to each planet. Hover over it, it'll give you the stats. So in this case, Gravis Prime is medium size, so it's 2 out of 5 bars. It's toxic biome, which is pretty horrible. It's mineral poor, it has normal gravity and no specials. So this is absolutely a planet you don't want to colonize. But we'll check out that next one. Let's see, what do we have over here? That would be a gas planet, so it's huge size, and it's mineral abundant. Now you can get tech to mine these things or to extract stuff from them, so they're not completely useless, but they're not that awesome either. Alright, we're gonna head that way. And over here, let's check out this world. Huge tundra abundant. That's probably worth colonizing, actually. Large desert abundant. It does have an artifact. What is your artifact? What are you? What is that? Research boost for the colony. So this is a possibility too. So as you can see, this is a medium map, so it takes quite a while to explore it out. I would think that a game with 5 players on a map size like this would easily take you between 6 to 10 hours to complete one game. I'm just guessing based on what I've been able to play so far. Okay, well, this I think is a good stopping point. This is a good stopping point for this episode 0. Again, this was just to provide you with a little bit of an overview about the game. Now, I'm going to start a fresh game with the Sakura here, because I think that they're interesting, and that'll be episode 1. So you can either click on the playlist Or I can even put, you know what, I'll just put an annotation right here if you want to skip straight to it or what have you. But I hope that you've enjoyed this initial episode of Master of Orion, and that you continue to join me for future episodes. I'll be playing this a whole lot. I love Master of Orion, so you can just plan on this being something that will stay on my channel on an ongoing basis. And as the new improvements to the early access come out, I will cover those in as much detail as I can. Anyway, thanks for joining. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I am Mal, and I'll see you later.